I turned 18 and I had to finish out the school year, like government classes and shit like that. So I had to check into North Scott High School. I was in Project Ready, doing the whole thing, only going to school 2 days a week, but I'm working 6. Still hanging out with friends, still smoking pot, still doing drugs, still drinking, messing with other girls now. Um, 3 weeks after my 18th birthday, I was fucking months away from getting my GED. My mom would have a massive stroke. Um, Paul would have a conversation with me and ask me if I want to move down to Louisville, and basically why I would want to do that. I was like, I don't know, a fresh start. I can go to trade school, college. Um, I'm like, you could even start over too and shit like that, because I wasn't aware what went wrong, but I knew in my family, like, there was definitely going to be a shift when I turned 18. Paul asked me if I wanted to tag along with him. I thought that was cool. That's what I wanted to do. I was like, when do you plan on moving and shit? He's like, before the year ends. That's what his fucking plan was, man. I was like, what about Nate? And he's like, I'll tell Nate after, you know, after we move, get settled. I was like, oh, all right. So I kind of knew that he was gonna let Nate know. I was like, what about mom? He's like, I don't know. It's like, there's some things that, can't be forgiven. Some lines were crossed. So then, I was like, yeah, she's fucked up. Remember in February, my mom and Paul would get into a big ass fight. A week after a week after I turned 18, I know they had a big ass fight. Another one. Um, in the fall, they were fighting a lot. My mom got shoved through through a shower door, and I remember the argument being about their drinking. I thought it was gonna be the set. I thought fucking Paul was like being in the shower, but he just pushed a fat bitch through the fucking shower door in the door. Broke the shower up, all that shit. We couldn't take a shower for fucking 2 weeks. Um, Everything came to a head. All my mom's fucking bullshit was coming to a head, and she knew it. And at this time in her life, she was pretty much a couch potato, fucking QVC shopper, fucking heavy ass drinker, crying all the fucking time, wondering why nobody wanted her to fucking be around her. She realized she fucked up, and the other shoe was about to drop. I think the other shoe dropped, and this is my own opinion. I don't fucking know. I don't got concrete evidence, but I'm pretty sure this is like, why my mom's brain fucking popped. Was I can just sum it down into 3 big reasons. One, lack of physical activity and years of being on prescription medications, and a sedentary lifestyle, like her weight, shit like that. Her drinking. You just can't crush fucking half handles of fucking vodka every day. Just sit around and fucking waste away. Be stressed out about shit you can't control. I think that was a huge contributing factor. And the other factor, the third reason, not even the biggest reason. I believe that morning, Paul served her divorce papers. I believe that's what happened. That'd be fucking the start of the downfall. The months after this, Paul would be stressed the fuck out because when she had a stroke, she was dead. They revived her ass after they gave her a tracheotomy and shit. This is some of the hardest shit you're gonna hear. I want to find out what happened to Sean, but for all intents and purposes, that I believe, dude, that bitch should have died that day. If she would have fucking died that day, none of this shit would have happened in the next 3 years. None of this shit would have happened. Paul would have been grieving. He would have been single. He would have got the life insurance. He would have fucking, been able to pick up and move on. He wouldn't have to do any of the shit he had to do, or he felt like he had to do. Could have fucking moved on, bro. But no, he'd be a man of principle, and he's like, up in sickness and health, and take the whole vows seriously, but not realize the fucking bitch didn't respect the vows in the fucking first place. She was, she wasn't the same woman that you met, and she was just a fucking fat, drunk, self-loathing, bored, not gonna change, hasn't changed, in 17 years, in like 15 years, she's not gonna fucking change, dude. You got new opportunities coming up on the horizon, She literally contributed to nothing. She created a lot of drama, unnecessarily, for her own entertainment. No, but she would survive, and she would be in the ICU for 6 months, 7 months. Paul would ask me about a month in, like, oh, should you take her off life support and shit like that? And I was like, yeah. And I gave him the reasons why, because of everything like that. I told him right to his face. I was at the top of the stairs when he fucking was doing it, when he was there. Nate would be moving back. It looked like my mom would have early onset dementia and Alzheimer's from the stroke, and she would never ever be the person that she used to be. Of course, everybody knew what happened. I couldn't go to work for a while. I was ripping and running. I only seen my mom in the hospital like 3 times. Two of the fucking times, I was like, dude, like, you should have fucking died. Because I knew what this is gonna do. It's gonna fucking drain Paul financially. It's gonna make it so Paul can fucking maneuver, couldn't get out. It was gonna be bad. It was gonna be fucking real bad. And it was gonna suck. It wasn't just gonna suck for Paul, it was gonna suck for everybody. Nah, but my old man, he had to stand on business, and he had to do what he felt was right. So she would get out of the hospital. By this time, I would already be kicked out because of the treatment of Nate. And at the time, I was only like 2-3 months away from getting my GED, right? I'd only be like 2-3 months away from getting my GED. And Paul kicked me out because I was barely at home. I was ripping, running. The shit I pulled when I was, when I stole that money. I was like, I fucking paid you back, shit like that. Nate was in the house. That day was fucked up because Paul fucking pleaded with me. Paul pleaded with me. He's like, oh, yeah, like, Nate pleaded with Paul, I meant, and Nate was like, don't do this, you know, it's gonna fuck Josh up, you know, we need him around, we need his help, you know, you're just fucking mad, you know, you're just mad at everything, you know. I remember Nate saying that, and the reality of it was Nate was right, like, and Paul knew. Paul had a lot of pressure on him at that time. Pressure on his job, pressure from the bill collectors, pressure like he didn't want to lose custody of his wife. But, you know, she would need to have you know, how to get a hospital bed, how to get certified and all these things so he can actually have custody of his fucking wife and have some sense of control and normalcy about his wife and shit. Instead of she being remaining in state care. It was bad. It was bad. So Paul would kick me out, and I would. It was around summertime. I wouldn't, as I said, I wouldn't graduate that year. But no, it was. It sucked. It was not good. But yeah, I was kicked out for no fucking reason. I was kicked out because Paul was pissed off at the treatment that my mom gave Nate. He was pissed off at the fact that I was barely there. And I didn't really give a fuck if my mom was in the hospital at all. Pull that shit? Nah. You know, you make so many idle threats during your life, you know. Fuck. Interject yourself into our relationships, cause discourse amongst our friends, amongst our jobs. Start shit for no reason. No, I meant that shit. I meant that shit. Stood by it.